Good morning, YouTube. So last video we showed us installing the shifter bushings, and we got that all squared away. Had the bezel install, that went good. So I decided to let Gavin, got the truck running good, so I decided to let Gavin go take it out, run some errands. Said it ran great, and he got back, pulled up, and it was pouring coolant out. And so it's coming from the back of the engine. So got out, I got under the truck to look at it, and it looks like the head gaskets. Sorry, I've been working all night, so I've been up already, worked the night shift, and now I'm getting started on this, so my mind's a little foggy right now. So I'll show you what we're gonna be doing, and we'll start out with that. I'll show you where I think the leak's coming from and why we're gonna do the head gaskets, and then we'll get right into it. All right, so I think the first thing we're gonna do, get the coolant start draining. I got a bucket set down there. Hopefully that'll be enough to catch whatever we're gonna drop. Looks like there might be a drain over here on this side. I don't know if you can see it down there with the little white plug right there. Looks like there's a drain, but the spout shoots off towards the side of the frame, and I don't have a hose to put on there to try and direct the coolant down. So I think what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and pop this lower radiator hose off, let it go there. Well, I'm a little disappointed. We just had the coolant flushed, and I don't know if it's because it was leaking out. That's all that came out. You can tell that's not very much. Gavin said when he was driving it didn't heat up too bad, but with that much coolant in there, I don't see how it didn't overheat. It's really not good. Oh well, we'll keep going. Hopefully no more surprises. I'm gonna let that drip drain while we start on the front of the engine. We'll get the intake hoses off, the upper radiator hose, and I'll go ahead and set up the camera, and so you guys can follow along if you want. We'll be right back. I'm gonna grab the best energy drink there is right there. One of them, Monster. Good stuff. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. I'm gonna start with these intake hoses, and of course the clamps are already freaking loose. My plan is to pretty much start from the front, work my way back. Yeah, that's pretty gummed up. I didn't order it yet. I went ahead and ordered all new plug wires, new cap, new spark plugs. One thing I forgot was a new thermostat. We'll probably have to throw that in as well. But we should be able to grab that on the store, I would assume. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the belt. If you remember, we just did this a couple days ago. if you watched the video, you remember the whole belt debacle where we couldn't find a belt. That was a whole pain in the butt. Now, I don't know if Gavin mentioned to you guys, he's in flight school. Well, he was for a while. He's been taking classes, trying to get his pilot's license, and kind of went on hold. His previous car that he had, a Chevy Cruze. Don't ever buy a Chevy Cruze. But it broke down, and then it was summertime, and his brother's coming out, which you'll probably see them sooner or later on some episodes. Colton and Tyler. They come out for the summer, so he really didn't need a car to be running around, and put the flight lessons on hold, but now he's pretty close to being able to fly, and he can't get back and forth without a vehicle. So that's kind of why we're in a time crunch to get this done. I didn't really think this was going to be that much work when I bought it, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes, right? We just keep plugging away. Thinking we want to pull the the AC compressor off and just try and set it aside. I think one of my biggest worries with all this, doing this, is the potential for broken bolts. With as much rust and everything else that's on it, can totally see that being a problem. I'm really hoping that we can get through this without breaking any going into the head. Otherwise, most likely going to have to take them to a machine shop, have it all maybe have them resurfaced, and have, if we have any broken bolts, probably ought to take it to the machine shop anyway and have them resurfaced. But we're going to try and just get away with throwing some new head gaskets in it. I've been having a tough time though trying to find the head bolts for this thing. I don't know if they don't make them anymore or what, but can't seem to find them, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these Fords use torque to yield, and I read online, I don't think these are actually torque to yield bolts on the heads, because the torquing process is you just torque it down to X amount of feet-pounds and then go another 90 or something like that. But I've always thought it was a good idea to replace head bolts whenever you replace a head. It just seems like a good practice. So I'm going to do that if we can. Other plans, you kind of got a shot of that exhaust manifold and how rusty they are, and then it's got that crossover from when it used to have a smog pump on it, which the previous owner deleted. So I might go, I was looking at some shorty headers. We might put on a set of shorty headers that have that crossover removed, since it's just capped up in the back of the engine anyway. And then that way we won't have to worry about it. So that's most likely what we'll end up doing. Unless, depending on how long shipping is going to take for them. There went my washers. Didn't realize those were in there like that. I don't know that that's actually supposed to be like that, to be honest with you. Seems like it kind of jank. Well, we got the AC compressor out. A little concerned, I don't know if we're going to leave the power steering pump attached to the bracket. Looks like there's just 3 bolts here. Looks like it will be easier if we do. Just don't know if there's going to be room to get it out of the way. Another thing I'm a little worried about, never really messed around with the distributor before. So, everything says you want to put it at top dead center before you pull it out and put it back in. So that's how you set the timing. So we'll have to deal with that as well, which I watched a few videos on it. Looks fairly simple, but if you don't get it right, it could cause a bunch of problems. And yeah, that doesn't sound too good. And we don't have a garage to work in, so I'm out in front of my garage. Obviously, you guys, if you watch the boat videos, know the boat's being built in a garage. So we're in front of the garage, and it's Florida weather is already heating up. So there's power steering's out of the way. Good news. And then I know me and Gavin talked about, we were thinking about buying another F-250. And the guy ended up selling it out from under us, unfortunately. But now I found another one. Found a regular cab. Guy only wants like $3,500. Seems like a decent deal. It's all the way up in Georgia. I don't know how I feel about going all the way up in Georgia. But then I found this truck's twin. I'm literally almost an exact copy of this one. It's 96 F-250. Only difference is the interior's got a bench seat instead of bucket seats. Same colors. It's just pretty much same everything. And then it don't have power, no power windows or anything either. So, but the guy wants. I asked him if he'd take 7, and he said he'd be willing to entertain that offer. So we're gonna see. We might have this truck's twin here eventually, if nothing else, because I've been wanting something to drive. I don't know if you guys seen my Dodge Ram that I drive. I'm putting a lot of miles on it because I drive it daily, and just would like to get something to drive daily, so I'm not putting the miles on that as much. And then potentially Colton, I mentioned him earlier, so he's 11 now. If I bought that other one, that could potentially be his truck. They live in Iowa, and you could actually start driving at the age of 14 in Iowa, believe it or not. I think you can drive to school and stuff like that. I know this alternator wire is being kind of a stingy here. I don't want to break it, so maybe we'll just go ahead and pull the alternator off and set it aside here. But yeah, I definitely want to go take a look at it. It looks like a super nice truck. If we can pick it up, Gavin could potentially drive it until this one's ready to go. And then once we get this one ready to go, then I'll start driving it. But that'll be next week. I had some Amazon stocks that I decided to sell, and I'm just waiting for that to clear so that I can transfer it into my bank account, and that's going to take a little bit. So until that happens, we're kind of at a dead end. But once that goes through, then we'll go take a look and see what he's got. I mean, it's clean. The only rust on the body that I could see in the pictures is on the tailgate. Just one corner of the tailgate's a little rusty, and I mean, it looks almost cleaner than this truck as far as body goes. And that's the biggest reason we bought this one, is because how clean the body was. We'll see if I made a big old mistake. I was thinking about just going ahead and dropping a reman engine in this. I called a couple shops. Look, I was looking somewhere between $300 and $3,500 for a reman engine, plus whatever the core charge was. But didn't really want to be doing a engine right out in front of my apartment. I don't know how happy they would have been with that. So Gavin had a buddy that's got a shop, got a pretty good sized shop, and they build hot rods and stuff, and we thought maybe we could do it there. But his buddy's dad is an electrical lineman, and what'd I do with my socket wrench? Man. Yeah, his dad's an electrical lineman, and with the hurricane that just came through, he's been pretty busy. So I don't know that I couldn't get a hold of him to find out if he'd let us do it in his shop. And for the sake of trying to save some cash and potentially get another vehicle, I figure we'll just go ahead and try and do the head gaskets and really pray that this will do the trick and we won't have to worry about it. Tools that I'm using are some Husky tools. I just bought a small mechanic set, but it doesn't really have everything you need. I got a tool set in the back of my truck that I use. Sometimes we'll get them out if I need be, and use some of them. But I've got, like, honestly, when I was a mechanic, a heavy equipment mechanic, I started out at a dealership, and I started out going to school for being a mechanic. So they gave me a tool set, but then when I went to be a heavy equipment mechanic, the mine that I worked at, they provided us tools and toolboxes and all that stuff. And then I quit that and went to work for another construction company. And then after that, I went to a sand and gravel pit, and they required you to provide your own tools, which to me was kind of odd. But the job that I was doing, I had to have a set of tools in the shop, and then I had to have a set of tools on the service truck if I had to go out and do a call in the truck. So I ended up buying 2 sets of Husky mechanic tools, and so that's what I used for that. And to be honest, I really feel like Husky tools they're pretty dang good. They haven't let me down yet, so I'll rock them. I'm pretty sure they got a lifetime warranty as well, so you know, if anything breaks, you can just take them right into Home Depot and get a replacement, and they'll warranty it out for you. So that's another. Home Depots are everywhere. But I was working on the heavy equipment with my Husky tools and never had an issue. The tools we used in underground mine were all Proto, well, most of them, and they're all pretty much the same, just got different names on them. So I was gonna try and get this without pulling the idler tensioner, but that last boat was kind of a pain to try and get to. So I decided we'll go ahead and pull it just for the ease of it. That's a brand new idler. I just put it on. You guys probably seen that in the video if you were watching, hopefully. If you didn't, go back, check it out. One of those belts, that was a pretty huge ordeal. I think we tried 4 or 5 different belts to get the right one. Eventually, Gavin's buddy Evan that works at the parts house, they were able to find the right one. I don't know if I mentioned Gavin's at school. He's missed a few days of school because of this truck. We're trying to get it fixed, so I didn't think he needed to miss any more. Plus, his birthday's coming up. Part of the reason why we're trying to get this thing going is so we can get back to flight school and get his private license once he turns 17. And then taking some time off for that as well, because his grandma gonna come down and visit, and he got an uncle that lives in Tampa Bay, so then we'll go down there and hang out for the weekend. She comes out, so he's gonna be missing more school then, so I don't wanna hold him out right now. Although part of me feels like this is a better experience than what he's getting at school. But on the other hand, he is taking aviation in high school. He's actually well liked by his aviation teachers, and the teacher actually lets him help with the class because he's been with the guy for so long. So they kind of just let him do whatever. He come home yesterday saying that he got the highest score on his history test, which was pretty awesome. Perfect score on it. I don't know how much we'll edit this out, or I don't know, you guys just want to watch the whole deal. Maybe I'll make a couple videos out of it. I'm hoping that we can get this almost completely apart today, if not all the way apart. Get the new gaskets and at least get the heads back on. But my guess is that's wishful thinking. You know what they say, the laws of physics, what can go wrong will go wrong. But we can see the heads and we can see the front of the engine, so I see we're doing pretty good so far. Other than the truck not having any coolant in it. Wild to me. There just to try and keep from getting stuff in there. Looks like this PVC tube is shot. Yeah, look at that, just ripped as I was pulling it off. All right, what's next? Kind of debating on whether I should do the headers first or save the headers for last. Gonna have to figure out a way to clean all that up. We don't want that stuff falling down in the engine there. We got goop all around the distributor. I seen a guy using a shop vac to vacuum up while he was working, which seemed like a pretty good idea. Probably should have got one, but we're gonna make do with what we got here. I got a little air duster for PC. Maybe I can blow some of that stuff out of there with that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take a break and we'll be back here in a minute. Alright, so we're back. I just realized, after looking at it, it didn't have a thermostat in it. So definitely going to have to get us a thermostat. My guess is if he was having trouble with the head gasket before, it's not a good sign. Probably should take some pictures of these connectors real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out for a second. Let me get some pictures of these connectors. All right, back again. Just want to make sure that I know where everything goes back when we're getting it back together here. I made a quick trip to Walmart before I came home and got started to buy some stuff. And I was thinking I should have got a step stool kind of stand on. I have a feeling I'm gonna be doing a lot of standing on the bumper and engine and everything else. I've seen some guys look like they, one guy actually pulled the throttle body off the manifold. I'm not sure if that's the way I'm gonna go or if I'm just gonna pull it all together. Throttle cables. I'm just trying to put bolts back wherever they go. Keep them from getting lost. I don't know if I mentioned that headers that I was looking at, they come with a EGR delete kit. So what I'm doing now, pulling off the EGR valve, comes with a plate and then a little electrical thing that plugs in to trick the system to think that the EGR is working the way it's supposed to. So that's another reason why I was thinking about going with those headers, and the shorty headers. And then I don't know if you can see, there's this pipe that runs down and goes to the header, and they got a port that you can block that off so that you can just get rid of all this. So I think that's the direction we're gonna go. And the plate, you can see the plate just goes right here, and I'll block that off. And well, for right now, I thought this pipe just slid down in there, and apparently it doesn't. So it's gonna be interesting. I sprayed some PB blaster on it earlier. And you see it's turning. I think that pipe just goes down into the just like that. So it sticks down in there. That's out of the way for now. You can see, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. I'll tilt you down real quick. That pipe just goes in right there, and then it's got a plug right here on the header. And on the new ones, you can just plug that up. So I think that's what we're gonna do, is just get rid of all that, make it a little bit cleaner in here, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and pull the throttle body off. It might be a bad idea because then I'm gonna need a new gasket. It's another thing I'm gonna have to buy. But for the sake of doing it, go ahead and do it. I was reading online, and guys were saying that you can potentially do this job in 16 to 18 hours. I don't know how true that's going to be for me, because I'm not in a super rush and don't feel like working that hard. What I would like to have by the Saturday, so today's Thursday, by Saturday I would love to have the heads back on and the intake manifold back on and ready to go back together. Like I said, all that's going to depend on how well it goes getting the heads off the block. Another thing I was thinking about replacing, and I didn't order them off of Amazon, are the fuel injectors. They look pretty old and crusty. Probably ought to look at maybe the fuel rails too. The fuel rails look like shiz. But then I noticed down underneath this intake manifold too that it looks like something might have got in there and chewed up the wires to one of the fuel injectors. And so while we got it apart, I'm a big fan of soldering things. I hate butt connectors. So I might go in there and solder that connection and heat shrink it. I'm looking at it and man, I can't help but wonder if I couldn't pull that intake manifold without pulling the distributor. I mean, it looks like, I don't know if you can see, but the manifold goes around the distributor. I don't know if I could pull it up from the back and leave the distributor in. And look at that, gasket's shot too. Oh yeah. I should get something for trash on. It was kind of funny, Gavin and I were joking about how we got the truck running and man, it was running good. Like, honestly, like, we took it out for a drive and I got on a little bit and spun the tires and stuff, and like, it was wanting to go. It was running, but then all this happened, so here we are. Don't really like using a screwdriver on that, so we're gonna hold on that for a minute. take it off here. Now, like I said, we did have a coolant flush done at one of them oil change places in, I don't know why I keep messing with that, but it's bugging me. Before, my brother mentioned if they didn't do it right, that could have potentially caused the head gasket to go. Part of me can't help but wonder what as much coolant was missing, if that might not have been the case. Because there was a lot of coolant missing, and then all of a sudden it starts leaking from the head gasket. Man, that would really be unfortunate if that's what happened. Kind of irritating and hard to tell. You never know. I think they make a kit that you can buy to replace all these vacuum hoses, which would probably be a good idea. All old and brittle. I don't know if you remember, if you could see that. That's the map sensor, I believe that's what it's called. We just replaced that as well. And believe it or not, once we replaced that, it really started running and idling right. We'll just go ahead and start pulling plug wires. I'll have to figure it out once we get there. I ordered a brand new set of plug wires, and they're real nice blue looking ones. Oh, wait, that's not deep enough. That is, and that was loose anyway. I said I'll just keep on recording and keep on talking to you. I'll let Gavin decide what he wants to do as far as editing it. I got mad at him one video because he like kept playing music over. Anytime I started talking, he'd start playing music. And I'm like, bro, right in the important parts, you start playing music. And he's like, well, I'm just trying to make the video not quite as long. And I'm like, well, I get that, but the whole point of me talking is to try and tell what we're doing and stuff. So I told him, you know, I don't know if y'all will be using this for a tutorial or you're just watching it for entertainment purposes, but either way, the value wasn't really there because he recorded on everything I was saying. So it was just a fast forward video of everything I was doing. I think it was on the brake video. That he did that. So I was a little unhappy with him. But I gotta give it to him. His skills for editing is pretty good. I like it. He's been using Clip Champ. I don't know, what do you guys like to use? If you do videos, what do you use? I prefer iMovie on Apple. And I went and got a brand new Apple MacBook Air that I would do mine on, but yeah, I don't like to take care of this stuff, so I don't know that I want them using my MacBook. So I hit my brother up, Uncle B. He's a huge Apple guy. He loves his Apple stuff. And he just happened to have an old, I think it's a 15 or 17 inch MacBook Pro that he used to use when he first started off computer programming. So he said it's just laying around not being used, so he's going to send it to Gavin so Gavin can try the iMovie, see if he likes that a little bit better than Clip Champ. I know he says downloading clips on Clip Champ takes forever. Snag here. It looks like the middle bolt for this intake manifold, the upper intake manifold, is a hex. So I'm gonna have to see if we might have to get into my truck tools and see if I don't got something that can reach down in there, because I don't think anything Gavin's got in his toolbox is gonna reach down there. I may have to run up to Harbor Freight and get a vacuum so that, oh yeah, look at that, it wasn't even all the way that tight. That's not even that good. I'm gonna have to go get a vacuum because there's a lot of crap down here and I don't want to risk getting it inside the engine or the intake. Honestly, I shouldn't even pull this off yet until I do that. Not sure what size Torx that is, and it's pretty hard to see and get down to I think it's a T25. And that won't get in there. The manifold's too freaking tight. I have to see if I got it in a 1/4-inch drive. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and take a break real quick. And hopefully when we come back, we'll be able to get that out. Alright, so we're back. I was right, it was a T30. I had to kind of come up with a contraption to get it. But we're gonna try and get it pulled out now. Power steering pump's gonna be a pain in my butt too, I think. You see that? That was loose, super loose. Almost hand tight. Lost my Torx bit. Hopefully it didn't fall down in there. There it is. All right. Now we're cooking. Look at that. Grab that Torx so we don't lose it. I think this is probably about the time where I should go get him. Back clear from Harbor Freight. This thing is nasty. So I've seen guys do this. We just gonna fill these holes with paper towels. I don't know if you can see the injector wires, but looks like definitely some backwoods stuff going on in there. I tried looking for a whole new injector harness, but apparently they're kind of hard to come by. I've really contemplated just switching over to a Holley standalone system just because of all the crap with the Ford stuff. Gotta be honest, I'm a little scared to try and pull these off. Let me get this intake manifold out of the way real quick. Oh no, can you see that in the video? Look at them wires over there. Look like they've been jerry-rigged like a mofo. It's very disappointing, to say the least. of course, I think I lost my Torx bit. Set it over here and then I did something with it. It's a mechanic's life, isn't it? Hopefully I moved it over with this other stuff. So I guess we'll just keep going. Start pulling stuff off the top of here. Oh yeah, I just broke a clip on one of the fuel injectors. See that? Oh man. That's really gonna drive me crazy too, because one of my biggest pet peeves is clean wiring and stuff like that. Having something like that'll eat at me. Just thinking about it. Oh, another one just broke. Oh man, that's killing me. Really killing me. Connectors broke everywhere. Sorry, I'm breathing so hard. It's hot out here. Like I said, I've been up all night. I got up at like 3 o'clock. No, shoot, it was probably like 1:30 yesterday. So I've been up since 1:30 yesterday. I work night shifts and I can't seem to sleep very well. I'll usually only get like 4 or 5 hours, give or take. definitely don't want to pull the valve covers off with all this crap here on the engine. There went another connector. Metal tabs on here, all rusted out and stuck up on there. Last one just broke. Getting hot. Yeah, let's put them nuts back on there. It just broke. Part that scares me the most about doing this job is what kind of can of worms are we opening up here? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get down into it and find out some all kinds of some crap. Hear that helicopter go by? We live right by the Navy base. We got aircraft flying over all the time. Whew, it's getting tough sitting in here like this. Got a place to put my foot. We got these freaking metal clips holding this wiring harness on. Found some really sweet Ford valve covers on Amazon. Man, they look freaking cool. They're like $200, but I think they're too tall. I don't know that with their intake manifold if they would actually fit, because the way that intake manifold hangs over the side of the head valve cover. Well, as you can see, I'm red. I've been sweating. It's been rough. I got the hood closed down right now. I got as far as getting all the injectors, all the harness off of the injectors and all that, and it's ready to be pulled back, but you can't pull it back without removing the fuel rails. Not sure how much you got from that last video. My phone started to overheat, so it might have cut you off towards the end there, but I think you got most of it. I think now's a good time. I don't want to pull the injectors without cleaning up that intake manifold, so I think I'm gonna run to Harbor Freight and grab like a shop vac so that I can vacuum out that intake manifold, and then get them injectors pulled out, and then we'll start working on the intake manifold, valve covers, and man, it's getting close to start working on the heads, which it fathers me that I'm doing this right in the front of my garage here. But I'm gonna run to the auto parts store too, get all the gaskets, try and get everything I need. I think I'm gonna buy some fogger oil just in case I have to leave it without the heads on the engine. I'm gonna spray it on top of the engine just to try and keep it lubricated, because obviously in Florida we got lots of humidity here, and we don't want nothing rusting out while the heads aren't on it. Shoot, the other thing I gotta do is get the rocker arms and push rods pulled out. So we'll get back to that once I get back and try and think of anything else I need while I'm out and about. So we'll come back to it, but we're making good progress. All right, talk to you in a bit. All right, so we're back. Had to run around, got a vacuum cleaner, bought a couple torque wrenches, and got the gasket set, the head gasket set. Having trouble locating head bolts. One of the things I can find is the ARP head bolts. The only place I can find them is on Amazon. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and order those up here pretty soon. Right now I'm working on the exhaust manifold. I'm not really going to put that on camera because it's too hard to get a good camera angle on it. I'll go ahead and show you though. I don't know if you can see that. Let me actually flip the camera around. That'll be a little bit easier. Oh, it won't let me flip it. All right, let's see. So you can see down in there. Anyway, so started on the passenger side and all the bolts are removed. I had one stud break. I'm feeling pretty fortunate right now that that's all that broke. I was expecting it to be worse. So we'll go from there. I'm gonna try and knock the driver's side loose real quick, and then I'll probably come back, give you an update. Next, after that, it's gonna be vacuuming this manifold. If I could flip this around, man. I don't know why it won't let me flip it around. I just kind of throw it down so you can see all that leaves and crap in there. So we want to get that out before we start taking valve covers and all that good stuff out. You know, we don't want to get it down inside the engine, all that garbage. So we did that. I'm going to do that. I got to take the fuel rails off. I'll probably wait until after I get that all cleaned up to do that. I think I'm gonna get some new injectors too. I'm sure the O-rings on these ones are pretty shot, and you probably tell from that last flip over that they look pretty old. Amazon's got a set and it's like 49 bucks for all 8 of them. So got like 4.5-star reviews, so we'll give them a shot. Hopefully they're not bad ones, because if they are, intake manifold has to come off to replace those. I think you might be able to do it, but it would be tough, especially on the passenger side. So that's a quick update. I'll come back and give you another update here in a minute. All right.